there are three kinds of podcast listeners out there. The consumer literally just listens. That's all they do. That's all they'll ever do. No contributions to show or means to improve it. There's the troll who will leave comments, usually derogatory to the show's hosts. Might be a tad racist, that's expected. Then there's the supporter, which I assume you have to be, right? That's why you're here. They thrive over at patreon.com/LessCastProductions. For less than the cost of repairing your relationship in the apocalypse, you can support this show. Bonus episodes, early access, exclusive content just for you. Those consumers they're really missing out on this by not going to patreon.com/LessCastProductions and supporting our fine work. We hope to see you there soon, and enjoy the show. They've got you running through the night. Yes, it's terror time again. And you just might die of fright. It's terrifying time. You know, this place just doesn't feel as welcoming or important as it once did. Feels a little tarnished. Either way, welcome to the After Credits Cast, the only film podcast to record right here in the Oval Office of the White House. I see they still couldn't get rid of that piss corner over there from the one guy. I can't remember his name, but I bet he wasn't important. Had tiny hands. I don't know.
Oh, God. No!
I'm your host, AJ Waseska, and I'm joined by my Vice President, Ryan Mitters.
Yes, hello and good evening. I'm sorry, I was so rocked by that reference that I was just like, I can't think of anything funny to say.
Sometimes it's hard to get upstage, man. Sometimes sometimes the joke just hits and you're like, oh, how do I follow that up? Fuck.
Yeah.
You can follow us on the platforms down below, Apple, Google, iHeart, Spotify, all that stuff. And if you do listen to our stuff on one of these platforms, be sure to give us 5 stars, or 4 stars, or 3, or just a number of stars. Roll a dice, give us that number. If it's 6, re-roll it again. If you have a 20-sided dice, you're using the wrong dice, try something else. The point I'm trying to say is, give us some ratings so we can get some more views, so we can improve the show with more people. We want a larger community, and we want to have a larger following. And the only way we can do that is you help us out with just some reviews, or donating to us. But reviews help too. And Ryan, if they want to email us directly with their thoughts and concerns, where could they email us at?
They can email us at insert self-referential humor joke here at excuse me. Sorry. That's evacstation@gmail.com.
Self-referential humor. I couldn't begin to fathom what that even means, but
I have no idea, man.
I'm sure we'll figure it out. Yeah, welcome back to Revenge of the Sequel. Sorry. Revenge of the Sequel. Today's entry is Zombieland Double Tap from 2019. Hey Ryan, we saw this in person together.
We did. It was one. Wow, it was one of the last movies I had seen in public before quarantine. It was one of the last movies I saw in before quarantine really hit.
Yeah, the last one before quarantine for me was Sonic the Hedgehog.
It was. Me too. The very last movie I saw in theaters before quarantine was Sonic the Hedgehog.
I know this is a little off topic, Ryan, but what would your chosen last movie have been before quarantine? Like, if you could pick a movie to see before quarantine hits, what would you have gone with?
God, I don't even remember what came out in March.
Well, let's back up. You can even go with something that was supposed to come out but never did. As much as I want to say a Marvel movie, I honestly would have been very happy if Godzilla vs. King Kong had made it before the quarantine.
Yes. Ooh, yeah, I'm taking that one. Because I 100% would have rather have seen that in IMAX. Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely.
I'm glad we're on the same boat on that one. So anyway, yeah, Zombieland Double Tap, 2019. Written by Reet Reese and Paul Wernick and Dave Callahan, and directed by Ruben Fleischer. The film made a total of $122 million. Wow, I have not had a number that high in a while. Which is roughly 3 times what it cost.
Hey, I mean, quarantine numbers.
Well, pre-quarantine.
Pre-quarantine numbers.
The cast includes a number of people, including Thomas Middleditch, Luke Wilson, Rosario Dawson, Yvonne Jogya? Sure. Zoe Deutsch.
Deutsch.
Shush, 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 shush. Abigail Breslin, Emma Stone, Jesse Eisenberg, with Woody Harrelson bringing us the Carnage.
No, stop. Oh, God, I'm not ready for that.
Ryan, let there be carnage, please.
God in heaven.
You know we're going to have to cover that one at some point.
Yeah, I know.
Hopefully by the time it comes out, we'll also be able to do our Morbius episode.
That one I'm actually very interested in checking out.
Obviously, I am too. I want to know. I want to learn behind the scenes as to what's the guy's name? Shit, I should know this one. The guy who plays Morbius. What's his name again? Jared Leto.
Yeah, Jared Leto.
I am looking forward to learning the behind the scenes about how Jared Leto learned to suck so good to be a vampire.
Stop! Oh my God. Where are the awards at, sir?
There are none. This movie didn't win a single damn one.
Oh no.
So I have to switch over to you for fun facts, so I filled in some time with my sucking joke.
All right. First fun fact that's actually not on the script. Rosario Dawson is my hall pass celebrity with me and Allegra. Hers is Lakeith Stanfield. Just a little FYI into our relationship.
So, anyway, fans, if you can get this shared to Rosario Dawson, we'll see what happens.
I would melt into a puddle. Please don't actually do that. I get terribly shy. She's drop dead gorgeous. Anyway, on to real fun facts. The story that Tallahassee tells in the hotel about his Elvis impersonation is actually the true story of how Woody Harrelson got into acting. I 100% love that. Woody Harrelson feels like a full-on rock star to me. He feels like if there's anybody who's as fun as he seems in real life, I feel like it'd be Woody Harrelson.
What's funny is when I first saw him in Cheers, and this is obviously after Cheers was like popular on TV, so it was like a couple of like in the late '90s, early 2000s when I started seeing it. I never really expected him to be like this big fucking actor. But he's been in so many big things in the past 10 years. I'm just like, oh, wow. He's really making a name for himself nowadays.
Yeah, absolutely. God. All right, next up. The scene in which Columbus stands on top of an RV directing Tallahassee and Wichita to which directions the zombies are coming from came from the final battle in an early draft of Zombieland 2009, which involved Columbus and Tallahassee doing the same thing at an abandoned gas station. So I like how they recycled the idea that didn't make it into the original script because it was a pretty fun idea for a zombie clash.
Mm-hmm. It definitely is a cool idea, and it fits every character pretty well, so I'm glad they were able to find some use for it.
Mm-hmm. Well, our final fun fact, though many shows have stuck to the tried and true foam latex for their zombies, the prosthetics in Zombieland Double Tap were primarily run in silicone. This choice makes it easier to achieve the depth to the skin that they were looking for and give it that sick sort of translucency, said Tony. The zombie appliances ran the gamut from little blister appearances to big jagged wounds, many of them layered all together. A minimal number of Pros-Aid appliances were also used in some of the zombie makeups.
Yeah. Got a different look to these zombies. It's a little unique and original here. I like it.
They definitely looked good, though. They definitely achieved what they were looking for.
Initial thoughts. I thought this was a fun time. I don't think it's as fresh or as original as the first movie, but it's still a good time to hang out with and have fun with, so.
Yeah. It's definitely treading on, like, old familiar grounds and just kind of taking them a little further. So it doesn't seem like anything that's trying to be an original take, but rather, like, it feels like a movie where you very much know what you're in for, and you're willingly going back to it because you had a lot of fun with the last one. And to that it doesn't disappoint.
Indeed. Ryan, are you ready for a synopsis?
I am, sir. Let's get it.
After getting complacent, Columbus tries to take his relationship with Wichita to the next level. But instead of saying the meaningless I do's in a dead society where no one would know or care, she leaves her sister with her sister in tow. Columbus and Tallahassee have the White House to themselves for a while. Eventually, a really dumb, horny girl shows up to be the cause of and solution to most of Columbus's problems. For the rest of the film, I hesitate to use the word bimbo, but I feel like that's what the writers are going for here.
They very much leaned into that into that stereotype.
After he gets unexpectedly laid, Wichita returns, her sister having been taken from her, sort of. So she sets out to save her from this hippie society. She enlists the help of Tallahassee and, reluctantly, Columbus. Madison joins the group, only to presumably die partway there. Oh, you will be missed, joke character. So missed. The crew rolls up on an Elvis museum, where they meet the doppelgangers of Tallahassee and Columbus, who get bit and become one of the new super zombies. Oh, and I forgot to mention, there are now super zombies. They barely come out alive, but they get a new monster truck and a new friend in Nevada, or Nevada, depends on where you're from, for Tallahassee to pair off with.
I never would have left that Elvis chapel. Just personally, that would have been my new home. But anyway.
Oh, really? Oh, really? Well, I'll have to talk about that here. They eventually roll up to the commune known as Babylon to find Little Rock. The hippies demand they drop their weapons, which are then melted, leaving the commune virtually defenseless.
Oh my god.
It's not long before zombies are attracted to the commune and almost take it over. Probably shouldn't be shooting off fireworks, guys, I'm just saying. They save the commune, Little Rock breaks off with the hippie kid, and Wichita accepts Columbus's proposal after all. We get a final mid-credits roll showing Bill Murray on the set of the day zero of the outbreak. One is to wonder exactly what they could show after this to keep him in a potential threequel.
Oh my god, that would be amazing. I have no idea how they do it. I have zero ideas how they do it.
So yeah, you'd stay at the Elvis Chapel, huh?
100%.
Now, would that just be because of Rosario Dawson, or are you also an Elvis fan?
It's Rosario Dawson.
Okay.
I would learn every Elvis song if it got Rosario Dawson attention to me. I would. I just would.
You know, that's what you should do for your first video. I challenged you this a while ago, and you haven't done it yet.
God!
You should do that for one of your videos. Is just sing an Elvis song.
Oh God! Maybe. Oh God, it's a different style of guitar that I wanted to learn, but maybe if I could get Rosario Dawson's attention with that, then I might be inclined to learn.
Well, there we go. We have a new challenge for Ryan here. Yeah. So let me ask this first question here then. Were the super zombies a good addition to the movie, or do they not really add enough to keep the film fresh?
I feel like it's good enough to keep us somewhat engaged in the actions of the zombies, and it makes for a fun prologue so that we can hear about new zombies, and so they can actually have a challenge, because at this point, like years into the apocalypse, they're now just taking zombies out on autopilot. So it makes sense to give them an additional challenge, sure. It's not enough to really make us feel like threatened by them. They have to do like the huge contrivance of taking their guns and then melting them down quick as hell in order to actually make the final battle like somewhat scary.
Yeah. I think my problem with it is I played stuff like Left 4 Dead and Resident Evil where there are super zombies, and don't get me wrong, I don't think Columbus is going to take down Nemesis anytime soon. Like, pretty sure he's fucking dead. But that being said, though, I feel like they could have probably upped the game a little bit more. Just making zombies that are slightly faster and slightly stronger just doesn't feel like a really big leap to me.
Yeah. I felt like it was just more of an afterthought to kind of keep us engaged with like the whole, oh, by the way, they are in the middle of a zombie apocalypse, just in case y'all forgot. Like here are some new ones for you.
Maybe. Eventually we're gonna get to the point where zombie apocalypse is no longer the genre but just the setting. Like, that's just where people are, and you have zombies in the background, but like they're so, like, not important to the plot at all. Like, it's just, oh, hey, these guys are eating pizza and there's a zombie out there, but it's fine. They're just eating pizza over here. They're just talking.
I mean, you're already seeing kind of like hybridizations of the zombie genre. Like, we have zombie Korean history like set piece, and we have zombie Korean Fast and Furious. We have zombie heist movies. Like, we're already starting to see those show up. So I think that's closer than you think.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, we're seeing it with the superhero genre too. I mean, we're now going to be getting a superhero kung fu movie this year.
Oh yeah, but I mean, Shang-Chi's going to be fantastic.
Oh yeah,
and that's already an established comic, so it's not like they're
well, no, but I mean, it's something they haven't done before. It's definitely a lower tier Marvel character. Like, almost no one's probably actually heard of Shang-Chi in like the past 20 years.
I would say non-active comic book readers haven't heard of Shang-Chi.
Fair. But when you're looking
we will surely have the Marvel comic fanboys like, oh my god, what do you mean? I've known about Shang-Chi for years.
Well, yeah, I get that, but I'm referring more to the movie-going audiences. Like, the average moviegoer is not going to heard of Shang-Chi.
Very true.
Anyway, back to Zombieland here. Why did the zombie ninjas not show, or ninja zombies didn't show up more often?
I don't know, honestly.
They would have been more of a threat.
They definitely would have been more of a threat. I think it might have drawn too much attention to the zombies, because the zombies in Zombieland are very much a set piece as opposed to like the driving force of the plot. It's a kooky group comedy that just so happens to happen in the midst of a zombie apocalypse. So I think them constantly having to worry about getting ambushed by ninja zombies would have taken more of the focus away from their shenanigans.
That's fair.
Maybe?
That's fair.
Yeah.
While the focus is definitely being away from the zombies, are there any other special kinds of zombies you would like to see if this ever continues, or would have preferred to see?
I would be very interested in seeing Columbus deal with a witch. That would be hilarious to me. From Left 4 Dead, for those of y'all who don't know, just a random girl that's crying in the middle of a corner, and then when he goes to help, she becomes just super terrifying, shrieking zombie that kills you really, really fast.
Oh, you know he'd be dead right away.
Immediately. Madison proved that. Madison literally proved that.
So,
he'd have got up close, he'd have missed, and then instead of it being a horny airhead blonde, it would have been a witch that tore his throat out, and that would have been the end of the film.
So I want to see a video where the cast of this movie, as their characters, does a Let's Play of Left 4 Dead 2.
Oh my god!
Do you know how much fun that would be?
For that. This is a hell of a tangent, but they actually did something similar to that for press for Mortal Kombat. They had the characters playing Mortal Kombat 11 as their characters, and they did like a little mock tournament.
That sounds fun.
It was a lot. It was actually a lot of fun. Sonya took the whole thing.
That is somehow not surprising.
Yep.
I don't know, when it comes to specialized zombies, I would probably have switched out the super, fast zombies that we got in this film with, just one fuck-off tank-style zombie.
Oh, yeah.
Like, one big monster versus a bunch of, kind of normal but still fast monsters just feels like a bigger final boss fight to me. And that would have been much more fun to see than try to take down.
But then you'd actually have to see Columbus deal with Nemesis, and that would break my suspension of disbelief.
Maybe a little bit, but I also kind of want to see Columbus get killed by Nemesis.
No! Poor Columbus.
Ryan, where would you most want to live in a post-apocalyptic world? Zombie or otherwise?
Somewhere with Rosario Dawson. No, sorry. This is becoming my love letter to Rosario Dawson. No, I don't know. I like the general aesthetic of a mall, like an indoor mall. I know it's too big with too many enclosed spaces for zombies to hide in, but I think if properly sectioned off and scouted, it would more than likely be the perfect place to hole up. Like I'm very much thinking Day of the Dead. They just have to really like maintain security and not have people just fucking over everybody else for that to work. But yeah, I think a mall I would choose.
You would definitely need a crew for that too to make it plausible.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
I almost want to say a grocery store, but A, the food runs out after a certain point, and B, that grocery store's a target for a lot of raiders, so I'm staying away from that shit.
Oh yeah.
I want to be somewhere high, somewhere high up in the air, or at least high off the ground. So that way, zombies have to single file climb to me. So I would say maybe if I could the what do you call it, the what's the thing in Seattle, the
that space tower.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called. I had it a minute ago. Now the name's escaped me. But something like that is kind of in my mind, or alternatively, like a terminal at an airport. Because if you could then secure the means to fly said plane, you were at least nearby enough to be able to do that really quickly.
My only worry is that it intrinsically that place only has a very limited a very limited number of ways to get up and down the tower. So if those are fucked, then you're fucked. That's just it.
Fair. You just have to eventually come with alternate routes, like maybe you have your own rope ladders.
Zip lines. Yeah. All right, zip lines, let's go.
Zip lines. What else I got here? Why do you think Wichita's afraid of commitment? And did Columbus misunderstand their relationship?
I think it's more just a personality trait / flaw in terms of their characterization.
Okay.
And I don't think it's I don't think it's necessarily bad writing. I think it's character. I think it's human. I think it's human to have those doubts, specifically when all the other relationships you've seen go down that route end badly. I get that. It is definitely a bitch move to just completely drop the person and ghost them in the middle of a fucking zombie apocalypse. What kind of person does this? But if they were more open with their communication and more honest with their feelings, I think they would have been able to, at the very least, achieve a mutual understanding of where the relationship is and where the relationship needs, would go from that point forward. I don't think Columbus misunderstood it. I think he just wanted to advance it further, and she wasn't necessarily ready to do it, but she also didn't realize that it was going to go further. So it would break down in communication.
Well, I don't fully agree with her. I kind of understand her logic, because again, like I said in the synopsis, there's no one else there. What purpose is there to a wedding, really, or a marriage in post-apocalyptic Zombieland when the normal rules of society are all kind of just thrown out the window?
Yeah. It is a thing, and it's definitely an understandable stance to take. But I think there is there are some people who take meaning in titles and varying stages of advancement in relationship. Another fun fact is that this was this is actually very similar to how Allegra and I first got started, because
Really?
she was very hesitant to put any labels on it at first, and while I respected that, I also kept kind of nudging a little bit, just wanting to make it an official thing, until we had watched a scary movie and I was getting her some ice cream to kind of calm her down and whatnot, where she kind of reluctantly looked at me in the kitchen and said, "Fuck, you're my boyfriend, aren't you?" And I say, yeah, I am. I'm glad you caught on. Yes, I am. Thank you.
So let me ask you this. For the people out there in similar situations who are trying to get this relationship off the ground, but for some reason the other person's just not wanting to take that step like that, what is your advice to them?
My advice is make your intentions known, make them clear, but don't force it. Just make it known that of what you're looking for, and don't press the other person. If they are amenable to that, it's something that you guys can come to together. And if they're not, and it becomes a sticking point that you need, then you be honest with them and yourself in that, and make decisions accordingly at that point.
You hear it here, folks. Ryan, our love expert man.
Yep. It all boils down to talk to your partner. That's it. That's the whole thing. That's my big relationship secret. Talk to your partner.
Relationships are about No, that doesn't sound right to me.
I know it's an ancient arcane secret that I've learned after many failed relationships that happened in my mind. Yeah, that's it.
Brian, I've been married for almost 2 years. I don't think we said a word to each other since. I couldn't even do it with a straight face. Ryan, was Columbus wrong to sleep with Madison? Or were they, as the kids say, on a break?
Oh my god. You and this fucking Friends reunion, please. But, like, in all honesty, the fact that Wichita dipped with just a note and him thinking he was never going to see her again, he's not in the wrong there. She literally broke up with him. It's not like he said, screw you, and then went to sleep with somebody immediately after they broke up. Well, I mean, kind of. But it wasn't intentional. Nope, I'm siding with Columbus on this one. Because he got ghosted.
Yeah, when you aren't given anything to work with, no communications, no yes or no's, just absence, it's a little tough to say that you have any other ground to stand on then. So I agree.
Like, I literally thought I was never going to see you again. You left a note that said, it's been real, and left. Like, the fuck did you expect to happen?
Following that up, does he deserve to get back with Wichita in the end? Or is she upset at Columbus unjustly?
I think her anger is understandable because it feels like what they had meant nothing. The fact that he got with somebody like literally a couple weeks afterwards in the middle of a zombie apocalypse where it's literally the first girl he met he slept with. I can understand how feelings were hurt on that one. I definitely can. I think it's clear that she was that Madison was purely a rebound, and that the issues that they had to work with were between Wichita and Columbus rather than Madison. I think Madison was just a very silly like symbol of the issues of their relationship. But after they get over their anxieties and they actually talk to each other, it makes sense that they do get together at the end.
That's fair. I was reading some responses to these to this relationship online when I was getting these questions put together, and a lot of people were like saying that Columbus deserved better because apparently that Wichita just treated him like shit this whole movie, and I don't disagree, but I feel like once they actually have that conversation, it kind of that all goes away, because I think it brings Columbus to where he wants to be versus rehashing and going over the bullshit that he doesn't want. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like, I feel like it's At least my take on it was that Wichita never really gets told off for how unreasonable she gets in the midst of this. Like, I understand her feelings, but she never, like, it doesn't feel like she really has to own up to the fact that she literally just disappeared. It's just focused on making Columbus feel like shit because he apparently moved on so fast. When it's clear he absolutely didn't move on. It was just somebody that showed up when he thought he was never going to see her again. So, yeah, like, I get the Columbus deserved better fans, but, like, I don't necessarily hold true to that, but I can see where they're coming from.
I don't know why they just don't go for polygamy. I mean, there's just no reason to even worry about societal norms in this society.
Man, polyamory is a thing. That's all we're saying. It is a thing.
I'm not saying I'm going to do it, but I'm saying if he wants to, why not?
Also, I don't think you do it with Madison.
No, probably not. Bad call. First getting a Twinkie, Ryan. Now seeing the Elvis Museum. What do you think is next for Tallahassee on his post-apocalypse bucket list?
Oh my god. I think they have to actually go to Graceland at this point. I think they just have to actually go to Graceland. And Tallahassee has to sadly put down at like one of his favorite Elvis impersonators. That's what I'm gonna go with. Although they already did Elvis, but I mean, I think if they're gonna double down on it, then they might as well double down on it. Because then that gives both Tallahassee and Nevada something to deal with.
Maybe. I'm trying to think of where they've been so far. They've been to a lot of different places, obviously, because so they met basically somewhere between Ohio and Tennessee. Where did they go in the first movie again? For that theme park, do you remember where that was located at?
Damn, I can't.
Was it down in Texas?
I think it was.
Okay.
Damn, that means they can't do Disneyland because they already did a theme park.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think of where they can go. My first thought was, considering the kind of character he is, he might just want to retreat to nature for a little bit. Maybe like go to Niagara Falls or some shit. Just something very simple and basic. Well, no, just think about it. Like, he just seems like a very outdoorsy, man's type of person, but I could see him and her wanting to go and just do a little romantic getaway like that.
I think it's possible, but I think the way the movie has gone, it wouldn't make sense to take it from super referential tour through America, like Zombie Written America, to let's go out to the brave outdoors and become naturistic for the last movie. I don't know if I see them doing that.
No, you're not wrong. I'm trying to think of what else there could be. I mean, they haven't done a full-on Dawn of the Dead reference with them all. Like, I mean, they visited them all a little bit in this previous film, or in this film, but they could always go, like, to Mall of America.
Yeah.
Big, giant gauntlet of bullshit.
They could do a cathedral, but that would get a little too sanctimonious.
Trying to think of what else. Oh, you know what? I could see him being a big fan of, like, those late-night talk shows. What if they go to, like, New York, and he just tries to go on the set of David Letterman or some shit?
Yeah. Or just Hollywood in general. Ooh,
they were in Hollywood,
sets.
though, weren't they? Isn't that where Bill Murray's house was?
You're right. Damn, you're right. I don't know if there is anything else for these guys to do. I think they've toured all of America.
There's got to be something. I'm very curious to see what they would come up with. I know there's been talks about more of this series, which I'm on the fence on. We'll see. But I'd be curious to see what kind of oddball thing they give him to be like really excited to go do. You know?
Yeah.
Speaking of oddball things, Ryan, what kind of odd goals would you make for yourself in the post-apocalypse?
Living. Oh my god.
Ryan, let's
if I survived a couple of years in the zombie apocalypse, it would be more years than I thought I'd get.
Ryan, let's say, for the sake of argument, you've locked down your food supply pretty thoroughly. You've got yourself defended pretty well, and you can even travel out pretty far before you have to deal with any real problems. So let's say you've got all that on lock. What would you want to do with your free time then?
Okay, well, with my free time, I would definitely get more into music. If there was no electricity, nothing else that I could do, and I don't have to worry about like basic living necessities, then I'd absolutely be learning how to play guitar, and I'd be singing more, and I would just be enjoying life with my loved ones around me. That's what I would be doing.
If traveling too far out to do visit things was going to be too difficult, I would say my backup plan would be to finally host a game of D&D that actually ends properly.
Yeah. Oh man. Yes. Yes, sir. Oh my God. I would be running a post-apocalyptic D&D game night. All my players wouldn't have anywhere else to be. I'd schedule it so that they weren't on guard duty, and we'd just be running shit. Be like, all right, guys, here you can take on terrifying monsters without worrying about actually dying. Let's have some fun.
Man.
And then that would actually be really cool because they would start getting super tactical with the shit because that's already what we do in real life.
What you don't realize, Ryan, is this D&D game is a practice tactical simulation for the real life.
Yep. And that's how I get the more hard-ass members to come and play. Feel like, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a war game simulator, guys. Come on, you can practice some of your formations here.
You can practice your formations. You can practice bartering. You can practice performing. Really, you get a little bit of everything.
Oh yeah. D&D is a multifaceted skill set. If you're really good at it, then you're good at a lot of stuff.
Man. You and I can bullshit our way through any kind of sales pitch.
We really can.
What do you make of Babylon's no weapons policy?
Oh man. Okay, so leaving aside the massive contrivance that it is to add a sense of danger to the final fight sequence, I think it's very idealistic, but I get where they're coming from. I think the idea of trying to remove the aspect of internal conflict by eliminating the presence of weapons in their society is a take on it. I think it's a super naive take, specifically when you are surrounded by zombies, and if any one of them breaks the barrier, then you're fucked. But I think I understand where they're coming from. It's just amazingly idealistic and makes sense for a bunch of people who have been removed from the idea of fighting for their lives for so long.
And it drives me crazy that they have no weapons, but they're willing to, host a fireworks show.
That was 100% ridiculous. I mean, granted, their situation was protected enough against normal zombies, but it's the advent of the new super zombies that also that screws them over, because there are now zombies that can get past your actually well-made defenses. So now what do you do? Yeah.
Would you say now is the time to panic? Yes, yeah. I would, Kent. I am kind of on board for the no weapons policy, but practically speaking, it doesn't seem like it would really work. Like you said, but between needing to defend yourself from zombies and from other people who are just going to try to take the space you have, there needs to be something.
Yeah.
I don't think a moat is going to be enough. Just a basic land defense would be more than anything.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I don't know how you adjust that ruling to make it fair for everybody, but there's gotta be something.
Yeah. There was a there was a quote that I heard from somebody on TikTok. I can't believe I'm fucking quoting TikTok on the podcast.
Oh, I can believe it.
Oh God. But it was somebody said, if you're incapable of violence when the situation calls for it, you're not a pacifist. You're just harmless. And that's an interesting take, because pacifism being someone who chooses the path of nonviolence, he infers that you have to be able to choose violence and just decide not to. You make the choice to do otherwise. If you can't do that, then it's not really a choice to refrain from it. And I can kind of get on board with that, in the fact that you want to be peaceful, but you also have to be able to defend the people you love against people who don't choose to be peaceful. And in a zombie apocalypse, you're 100% going to encounter those people. Not only from zombies, but from people who want what you've got. And when resources are terribly scarce, you have to be able to defend the people you love. And I get that.
Gotcha. I think I've heard that same thing before too. It might have been.
It wasn't on TikTok.
No, it was probably.
It's not TikTok wisdom.
It's person I saw on Twitter as well, but it's one of those things where I think the word was if you choose to not do I think it said the word harms. I think it was like coward or something like that, but I don't remember exactly the word for word. So, Ryan, did you like any of the new rules added by Columbus, and were there any standouts?
Not so much as I mean, the new rules were okay. I don't think any of them really stood out to me in general. I think it was fun to see Madison like being so ditzy and like breaking like the established rules, and them having fun with the interactive text in regards to that. Like, as much as I felt bad for her when Tallahassee stops short and she like damn near breaks her head on the dashboard, and she's like, "Oh no, I forgot rule 4 about seatbelts." I'm like, "Oh my god, guys, please."
I do agree. I feel like she's unfairly treated by the rest of the cast, but what do you expect, though? She's really not offering much in terms of fighting power or realistic survival skills. Like, it's a miracle she's even made it this far.
Yeah, like, honestly, yeah.
Final question. Did the Zombieland movie need a sequel, and should there be more sequels?
I don't think it needed a sequel. I'm not mad that it got a sequel, and I think it's aware of the frivolity of the sequel, that's why it allows it to get so self-referential, where it's like, "Welcome to Zombieland. Back for seconds, I see." It's just like, guys, okay, we get it. You're poking at our forehead through the goddamn fourth wall. Yes, we're with you. We're with you. I don't think it necessarily needs a sequel, particularly because I'm not sure what else they could do with it. I do trust the writing team in terms of being able to think up something fun, but I also worry that they're going to tap the well at this point, and I would rather them end on a fun high note rather than come back for the third installment and realize that they came up short. So I don't really need another one.
I mean, obviously, if they do a sequel, they're gonna have to bring in Nemesis. I think we've all agreed with this
already. And Columbus has to get torn in half.
Stars. I was pretty much in the same boat where I didn't think the first one needed a sequel. I think it was pretty good on its own. Especially when you consider the fact that the second one is 10 years removed from the first one.
Yeah.
But beyond that, though, I don't hate this movie by any means. It's definitely, to me, not on the same level as the first one. Like we said earlier, it feels like it's a little bit of a retread. I don't see how a third one is going to shake the formula up too much beyond that, unless they really, like I said, dip into that Nemesis well pretty hardcore. It gives me a similar vibe to Men in Black, where the first one is like really fun and stands out, but the sequels never really recapture the magic because instead of doing something very new and different, they kind of just repeat a lot of the same motions over and over again.
But you know what what saved the second one?
What was that?
Rosario Dawson. God damn, she just makes any movie an immediate star power. Any movie. Sorry.
I like that I referenced that. I wasn't even intending to bring Rosario Dawson into it, and somehow you found it.
Man, she made that movie. I'm sorry. It's the single thing that saved Men in Black 2 for me. Like I didn't hate the movie, but you're right, it was absolutely unnecessary. But Rosario Dawson made it a fucking must see for me. I'm sorry, it just did.
That's all I have for questions and Rosario Dawson references. If you want to follow us on Tumblr and Twitter and Facebook, you certainly can. You can tell us what your favorite Rosario Dawson moments are, and you can claim your right to court her before Ryan does, and make it a battle for privacy, I guess. I don't know. Y'all figure it out. But while you're figuring it out, you can also email us directly with your challenges to Ryan or to me for the throne of the Iowa Film Critics Association. Ryan, where can they email us at?
They can email us at Miss Dawson. My phone number is 77343. Excuse me. That's evacstation@gmail.com.
If you are a intrepid young viewer, you can try to figure out the rest of that phone number, and it wouldn't be too hard, probably.
Shush. I left about 10,000 possibilities, all right? It's fine.
It's fair. This is the part of the show where we rank the film from platinum to trash and all the colors in between. Ryan, where would you like to start?
I had fun with this. I had fun with this movie. It by no means is groundbreaking, must-see cinema that challenges established tropes and things like that. I would honestly, I want to give it a platinum just for Miss Dawson, but I have to be solid and stoic in my duties as a movie reviewer. So, in keeping with the ideals of cinema and the things that we strive for on this channel,
and of the Iowa Film Critics Association, of course, can't forget those standards that we must uphold. I would personally give this one a silver. People who really liked the original Zombieland are gonna have fun with this one. It doesn't overreach. It knows what it is, and it seeks to make the people who enjoyed the first movie laugh some more. It doesn't try to do anything more, and it doesn't do anything less. So if you dig that, give this one a shot. You'll have a good time. I liked it, but I will admit that I was a little underwhelmed with it. Like, when we saw it together as a group, I had a lot of fun, but also, there's that group mentality of just like, oh, hey, everyone's laughing, let's laugh along, have fun with it. When I come back to revisit it, I don't know, I feel like the magic of the first film just isn't here. Like, don't get me wrong, it's still good, but, like, the first film had a very unique, a satire-y feel to it, where just, it definitely felt like it was trying something new and different, and I had fun with it. And like we said, this one feels a lot like it's retreading a lot of the old ground.
Also, the first time we saw it, it was more of the, oh my god, I can't believe they made a sequel to it, since it was, like you said, it was like 10 years removed.
There's that recency bias for sure, at that time. I would say for me, I'm probably going to go bronze. I wouldn't go lower by any means. It's still something fun. I'd still recommend it, but I don't think you're missing out on not seeing it, if that's any way to put it.
Unless you love Rosario Dawson, in which case you're absolutely missing out on it. Have you seen her? Jesus Christ. She's fucking gorgeous. I'm sorry. I can't help myself at this point. Man, and the podcast. Jesus.
So thank you for listening. And Allegra, if you are listening, just disregard this whole thing. Ryan still loves you. He does. He really does. But for the rest of you, we love you too. And we will see you in the next episode and after the credits.
Bye.
All that's